I want to ask you a couple of things about, I guess I don't know if this is a touchy subject or your sensitive subject, but this the whole oil versus other forms of energy and transformation that companies are trying. I feel like they're trying to go through, and these topics. I live in northern Colorado, rural Colorado, where Weld County, Colorado, which is like super oil kind of like, mentality. And then
Yep.
I drive like 30 minutes towards Boulder, and it's like, if you're in the oil industry, you're like evil. No, I'm just playing. It's not that bad, but my question is, where do you see that going? Like, where do you see a planet that eventually operates without oil like 100 years from now? I'm curious as to where you see that movement going.
Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize is petroleum products are in absolutely everything we
Right.
we use.
Right.
You know, I'm surrounded here, just computer, microphone, clothes I'm wearing. There's petroleum products in absolutely everything we
Absolutely
use.
everything.
So I think people need to be cognizant of the fact that for the lifestyles we've chosen, there's a lot of need for what the oil and gas companies are creating. And I don't see that going away anytime soon. But what we are also seeing is on the clean tech side of things, the technologies and the price points of those technologies and the likes of the VECKTA systems to empower people to then consider them and deploy those solutions are becoming more accessible and more viable all the time. So I think from an energy perspective and from a transportation perspective, I think we'll certainly see the world being increasingly electrified. And I think we'll do that through cleaner energy resources. So I think we'll see a lot less oil and petrol being used in vehicles. Gas is certainly a very good transition technology, as we go from coal, we're going through this gas cycle, and that's helping us build out the renewable energy generation technologies in the process. And so we're on a journey. There isn't one golden bullet. It's going to be a combination of multiple different strategies. We believe distributed energy and microgrids, bringing the energy closer to the need and not having to rely on centralized power generation and vulnerable transmission lines. Distributed energy is a huge opportunity for all of us. It makes it more efficient, it makes it more effective, it makes it more secure and reliable. So I think we're going on that journey. Are we doing it quick enough? We'll see. I think there's a lot of really smart people with a lot of money behind them. We've seen just in the last few months with the Biden administration coming in and the amount of money being injected into green technology and that industry is really creating a lot of stir. And that's not unique to the US. We're seeing the same in Europe as well and around the world. And increasingly countries are putting limits on emissions. And, when petrol driven cars can be, produced up into, I think some of the targets are 2025. No longer countries will accept petrol driven cars being sold in their jurisdiction. So that's going to drive a huge amount of change. I think what we haven't figured out yet is with then the resurgence of electric vehicles and things like that and increased electrification, we need the infrastructure to be able to handle that. And today the infrastructure can't handle it. And so that's where we think there's a huge business opportunity to help build out that sustainable, cleaner, more profitable energy solution. It has to be profitable for everyone. So that's kind of our philosophy, is it has to be distributed, it has to be sustainable, it has to be profitable.
That's the tricky part, right? How do you transition in an organized, logical fashion while being profitable and all at the same time? Like that is really tricky, right? Like I haven't met anybody. It's so interesting when I have this conversation with people, like I've never met anybody that says, yes, I want to like pollute the planet and like,
No.
kill us all. Like I want the planet to be dirty and nasty and polluted. Like nobody says that, right? Now, even
No.
even the oil guys, even the people that are in the oil industry that work in the oil field, like none of them say, nobody wants that, right? I think we all want a healthier planet, right?
Yeah.
It's just making the right decisions to get there in a logical way that's profitable and smart and all of those things that you just said. I thought you summarized that very well.
Yeah, we've
Um,
got, we're pretty passionate about our core values in VECKTA, and I think it kind of summarizes it up nicely. We talk about challenging the limits, adapting purposefully, and then empowering co-creation. And so, we need to challenge the status quo, and we need to ensure that we're all educated and we're all thinking outside the box and we know what's possible and not just doing stuff because that's the way it's always been done.
right.
But then we need to adapt with purpose. We don't want to just adapt for the sake of it and throw a bunch of money at solutions that haven't been properly thought through. So how do we make sure that we're all doing that in a smart and sustainable way? And then the co-creation piece is around, we have to do this as a community, as a team, as a collective of people across the supply chain to make it happen. Otherwise, no one company is going to solve this. I think that's the key to this is there needs to be a lot of collaboration.
I'll boil this challenge all the way down to something very small and personal. I want the mountains of Colorado and the sky to be, or I want the mountains to be clean. I want the sky to be blue, and I want a healthier planet. But I also want to fill up my Jeep and take my ATV to the mountains and ride around with gasoline and oil. I mean, I want both, right? How do we do both? I don't know. And that's what you're talking about is how do we do both in the right ways? If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone please share this with them. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviewing. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get information and pricing on the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Thanks so much for listening and have a great day.